Here is another call that came into A&A Masonry to repair damaged steps. The difficulty here is that the homeowner had already called in contractors twice before, and the problem with the steps persisted. Here you can see the steps in the erosion that has occurred, signifying underlying problems that the earlier contractors obviously did not address. In this video, you will see the exact diagnosis that A&A did to get to the source of the problem and the proper fix to make the steps safe and secure, and also saving the homeowner a lot of potential future difficulties that could have dangerous repercussions for the homeowner moving forward. A&A Masonry, an award-winning company servicing the Greater Toronto Area and the Golden Horseshoe.
Right, so we're here on another job. And again, the reason why I've called in my crew to kind of videotape this is I wanted to give you an opportunity to see the things that we deal with in repairs and how sometimes they're very difficult without just ripping the whole job that was done prior out and redoing it properly. In this case, as you know, water management for us is everything. As water hits the door, comes down the patio, gravity's wanting to pull that water towards the street, we want to make sure it's able to do so in a consistent way where it's not going to get locked up and trapped inside mortar joints. So when it freezes, it's going to break the mortar joint, water's going to get in behind the stone, and you're going to have a problem like this that's going to occur over and over and over again. There's no real solution. It's a constant repair. We deal with these type of issues all the time. In this particular case, you can clearly see that the treads, or the copings as we call them, they're supposed to extend over to manage the water to draw it and to fall onto the next tread below. In this case, you can clearly see that it's getting trapped into the mortar joints, it's cracking. This is falling apart. This job is only years old. It's already been corrected by somebody else once. This owner called in A&A Masonry to take care of it once and for all. We are going to actually take these risers, the face of the steps, off. We're going to clean up behind it. We're going to parge it, and then we're going to be able to seal the cement, the foundation, and the step risers in a color that's going to complement the natural stone, actually give it an aesthetic improvement. But the whole intent is to manage the water so that this homeowner doesn't have to go through the agonizing job repair over and over again, not to mention the costs that come with it. We're here close up so that you have an opportunity to see what we're dealing with. This is the sediment, this is the aggregate, the mortar, the adhesive that is underneath these stone pavers, as we call them. It should be solid pieces of mortar or cement or Portland or an adhesive that's going to bond the stone to the actual concrete surface. After a few years of water, it reverts right back to sand. My guess is they probably used the improper mortar, probably a type N, when they should have used a typical type S, which is more ideal for stonework and outdoor sub-zero temperatures. And you can see again where I mentioned, this is what we call the riser. It's actually outside the tread, so water's going to roll, get caught up, and you can see the damage. This is only a couple years old. This is never going to withstand the temperatures and climate extremities that we have in Ontario. So we have to take this off. We're going to chip this out. And you can see that it just basically falls apart and wants to come out really quickly, right? We have to get in behind here . To manage that water that wants to get trapped up in there, get back to the air, clean it up, and then we're going to parge it over, and it's going to actually, again, give the proper formation for water to flow downhill, gravity, and not get caught up and cause any further damage. And there's the major damage of water. I don't know what this is, but you can see the erosion that's caused in here. This is a potential real serious danger to a patio structure that will inevitably cost the homeowner tens of thousands of dollars to repair if she doesn't deal with this sooner rather than later.
Here is a look at the damaged steps where the stone was laid just 2 years earlier. The stone is still good, but as Greg described, the stone risers and treads were not laid correctly, causing water damage and the underlying mortar to fail. The first action of the crew is to take the stone risers out from the steps where the decayed mortar can be addressed, and the concrete surface where the risers were will set up in such a way as to manage the water properly. This requires the crew to put in the time to properly grind out the mortar and safely getting the stone risers out of their position as the next step. You can also see here that the stone laid on the top of the porch also has the same problem going on with the decayed mortar underneath. This also leads to Greg's observation that incorrect mortar was most likely used when the steps were laid just a couple of years ago. Type N mortar mix is a medium compressive strength material. This is the type of mortar that was most likely used to put the stone on the steps and porch. Type S mortar mix, on the other hand, has a compressive strength of at least 1800 psi, but is typically much stronger at 2300 to 3000 psi. Type S mortar is commonly used in situations where the masonry is exposed to harsh weather conditions or requires extra strength. As the subpar mortar was also used on the walkway, the joints also needed to be ground out as well. The concrete section of the steps needed to be smoothed out with proper grinding and any cracks or holes filled in with hydraulic cement. This will leave a proper surface for the next step to come. The management of the concrete surface where the risers were takes the time that it takes to create a smooth surface where the crew will apply SurGuard to the surface as a great water management solution and replacement to the faulty risers. This SurGuard coating is an A&A proprietary blend composed of 100% acrylic. It is a high build coating that is both breathable and water repellent. It can be used for exterior or interior applications, providing a protective layer for any type of masonry. SurGuard high build acrylic coating offers unparalleled durability and longevity where most masonry paint fails, all while adding a vibrant splash of color to enhance your home's curb appeal. The SurGuard is applied to the foundation sides of the steps as well as to the areas of the steps where the risers were. The crew take the necessary time that it takes to apply the coats of SurGuard to the surfaces to get maximum protection of the masonry as well as to get a great appearance of the steps as well.
All right, we're here at this job on our last day. You can see that we're just cleaning off all the dust residue that's on the front of the stairs, or what we call the risers. Now, if you remember, we had to take all that stuff apart and all the water decay. And in this case, it was really the only solution that we had with this homeowner because of all the money and all the construction that's put on top with the pergola and the railings. So the only other option would have been to rip the whole thing out, which was not an option in this particular case. So what we did is we took all those riser stones that were trapping water because there wasn't a big enough overhang for the stone to manage that water, cascade down and away from getting trapped. We took those risers off. We cemented the front or the riser in the face, but we still want to go one step further. Okay, so here where you can see a little bit more detail what I was talking about. We had the problem where water was getting trapped behind the stonework that was originally done here. And in doing a repair, we have to do something that A, is going to last. Also aesthetically, it's in the front of the house. It's got to look good. So the homeowner chose a nice brown color. That's the advantage that we have, is that you can choose any color you want to match or complement the steps or stairs or the foundation or the brickwork, whatever we're covering that surface with. We also can see that the risers now are more uniform, so it looks like the structure was built this way. But remember, the whole intent of this repair was to prevent water from further decaying this structure, the steps and foundation walls of the front steps in the patio. So our guys are just cleaning off the dust. We're going to fill the minor remaining joints with a nice Portland hard cement, seal it up. The color is going to match. This brown is actually on the riser, is going to make the color and the texture of the stone really pop. It's going to look beautiful, and we saved, again, this homeowner a ton of money. Well, we're just finishing up and cleaning up and loading the truck. You can see in a moment how beautiful it came out. We're really, really happy with the finished look. So another great job, guys. You can see why we're the best of the best. We'll see you on the next job.
And here you can see the completed job with the walkway fully addressed and the steps finished off. You can see the great color contrast between the natural stone and the SurGuard. You can also see where the SurGuard has been applied to areas where water will hit so as to fully protect the structure and keep it safe and last for many years to come. SurGuard comes in a wide variety of colors as well to suit any homeowner's desire to enhance the beauty of the home as well as to provide lasting protection. The concrete on a porch and steps can show many signs of water-related problems. Some of these can develop into structural problems that can be severe enough to require demolition of the structure and to be rebuilt. If they're not that serious or extreme, other protective measures such as the solution you've seen in this video can be undertaken. If you start to notice these type of signs with your porch, call the professionals at A&A Masonry. One of their specialists will come and assess the situation for you and direct you to the top option to protect your home and keep it safe and secure and looking great for all the years to come. To schedule your next project, contact A&A Masonry today.